This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is Not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy James. This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
This is Warsaw, part of the finest group in Texas, the Master Class, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with Warsaw!
I love it. Glad to be here. Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me. Man, I'm excited for it.
And we're excited to have you here as well. Can you tell us where the master class will be taught next, event-wise?
Yes. Look up AAPW. I know you've had a couple guys on that, wrestle with the promotion from the past on here.
Yes.
But just look it up on official AAPW on all the social medias. Masterclass is kind of running the show there right now. So just look that up and I can pretty much guarantee you'll see a little Warsaw action.
And we'll definitely be talking about you running the show. I'll put a pin in that for the moment. But where can we find you on social media and your merchandise?
Look me up on Instagram at Warsaw Nation. Get little videos on there for you. Let you know what I'm doing, what I got going on, and basically, can help anyone realize what the Warsaw way is all about.
And merchandise?
Same thing. Just look on there. Anything we got, all our t-shirts and everything, be
Okay.
coming in that same area.
Perfect. And you don't have to go looking for it. All of the links to his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox. Right. You mentioned it. You work for AAPW. Can you tell us about your relationship with the company and the man in charge, Papa Don?
Sure. So, my story is a long one because I'm I'm one of the older guys in the business, as I like to say. I first started probably around 25 years ago. Not with AAPW. It was a place out of Dallas. I did a little bit there, got on like local TV there, nothing huge. And then, what I like, the real world, my life got involved and I kind of got out of wrestling, took a big long break. And then at a certain point said, man, I miss it. I want to get back into it. So I went to Papa Don, and I talked to him. He was the guy here in Austin, Texas. That's where I'm out of. And, he's running training, and I told him a little bit about my history and that I'd like to be under his tutelage. So he took me on. I went through his whole program. That's where I also learned that I didn't know as much about real pro wrestling as I thought. So that man has taught me everything I know to where I am in the business, and still to this day very close with him.
You mentioned, you took a long hiatus. What ultimately, what was the clincher for you to say, yeah, I'm pulling the trigger again, I'm gonna get it back in the ring?
Well, for me personally, man, it was like now or never. And like I said earlier, I'm a little older than your normal independent wrestler, especially in the Texas scene. So, that was just like a kind of a personal thing I had to make. It was, hey, if you want to do it, it's now or never. And I'm super glad I did, because Still loving it to this day.
Now, I know that in order to pass your class with Papa Don, he does a gauntlet match.
Oh yeah,
How did your gauntlet match go?
man. I tell everyone the gauntlet, and you've probably heard it if you know guys from AAPW, will be the toughest match you ever had, and that is 100% the truth. I went around 50 minutes straight, and probably had, God, back then probably 30 to 35 guys. So they're fresh, and I'm a bigger dude. So I'm not a guy who's probably having any 60-minute Ironmans or anything like that as it is. So my gauntlet was probably very ugly and a lot of huffing and puffing by myself, but I got through it. I won it, and one of the greatest feats in my wrestling career still today.
How did it feel afterwards? Like, physically and mentally?
Mentally, it was actually a huge relief. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're worn out and stuff, but mentally, knowing that you can accomplish that is amazing for yourself. Physically, it probably took me about a week before I was ready to get back into the ring, and even a week later, I was still feeling some of the bumps and bruises.
I mean, I could imagine. Because like you said, like your average independent match goes maybe 10 minutes, 15 if you're lucky, and you're going 1 hour straight.
Yes, and like I said, you got to remember about every, depending how many people, about every minute and a half to 2 minutes, it's a brand new opponent. So they're not someone who's going 50 minutes straight. They're fresh and brand new into that match. So, they're ready. They're ready to keep you running even 30 minutes into it.
Right. Well, let's talk about the current stuff. You are part of the faction that's now running AAPW Masterclass. Can you
That's
tell
right.
us about the group and your relationship with the members? Lawrence Botello, Ryan Belfort, and King Cortez.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. Okay, so just like I had, started telling you earlier, how I'm kind of a long timer. Maybe even some might even call me old, um, especially in the wrestling business. But at a certain point, I was sick and tired of seeing all these 18, 19, 20-year olds get every opportunity, while us quote unquote old wrestlers still putting in amazing matches, still, getting that crowd reaction and everything. So I just had, I'd had enough of it. Insert my good friend Marshall Belfort, and we had a little conversation. We said, we think there needs to be an answer. We think this is broken. We thought AAPW was broken, and we were here to fix it. My other good friend, Lawrence Botello, came in, and he's another guy that some might say, quote unquote, is old, and he was just as sick and tired as we were. So we said, hey, let's start this, let's take it over, and let's fix this broken wrestling machine that is. So that, along the way, we picked up Arrow, great addition. We picked up Cortez, who's current champion, and then Pops got a little offended because let's be honest, we're doing it better than him. So he he got upset, and he did something that he shouldn't have, and he put his business on the line. And when it comes down to it, Masterclass, we are what we are. We're the best. So we won the match. We took over the company. Me and Lawrence are the current tag team champions. Cortez has the top championship belt. I mean, we're all champions. We're winners. I couldn't even tell you the last time we lost. That's basically Masterclass in a nutshell.
Cortez doesn't say a lot, does he?
No, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. We've got his back. We know what he wants. We know what his concerns are. We know how much he's dominating the singles division right now. So why would he say anything at this point?
Very true. So, you mentioned that Papa Don puts the company on the line. It's you guys, Masterclass versus Paradigm. Tell us about that match specifically.
Well, first let me tell you, Paradigm. I love Paradigm. They're good kids. They're really good kids. What one of the things I do at AAPW, it's no secret, is I help train the newer talent as they're coming up, and I was involved in all these guys training, but here's the thing, okay? They're yes, they're great. I love them, good kids, but I mean, they don't have the years of experience that we do. They don't have the mental sharpness of the wrestling game that we do. So yeah, they could go with anyone, but at the end of the day, it's just not who chops the hardest that's going to win the match. So I mean, those guys, they got a great future, but we're the present.
I mean, you mentioned that you love those guys. It doesn't seem like the love is reciprocated because you've had a couple of wars with Paradigm at this point, no?
Oh, I've had more than a couple. I've wrestled all those guys, singles matches, tag matches, cage matches, no rules matches, you name it, I've done it. But I kind of think of it, you know, uh, like I'm their big brother. I'm not gonna say father, that because once again, that's more along those older lines. And a big brother has, loves his little brother, but he's still got to keep him in check. And when that little brother comes knocking, you got to put him in his place.
I gotcha. And just kind of going back to Lawrence, Ryan King. What are some pet peeves about these individuals that you just don't understand?
About my partners, or
Yes,
who are we talking about?
your partners in Masterclass. What are some pet peeves that you have about them that you just don't quite understand?
Man, I don't have any pet peeves or anything against those guys. Their mind is in the right place. They're putting in the effort. They're putting in the training. I mean, recently we put out a little video and it said it best. When we go into matches, we only fight with honor and dignity, and we come out on top. And we are all on the same page. There's nothing that could break us up right now.
Now, obviously, Lawrence is your current tag team partner, but you had quite a few tag team partners during the years in AAPW, no?
I have, yes, yes. And kudos to all those individuals. If I was a young wrestler coming up, I'd want to tag with me as well.
And I mean, you've held those AAPW Tag Team Championships a few times now. What does
I
it mean?
have.
What does it mean to you to capture those titles?
Well, let me tell you, the championship is the ultimate honor in any wrestling association, any wrestling promotion. So, some people think of it as an honor to take those and to run with it. And though that's not necessarily wrong, I think that in the way that Masterclass is currently fixing AAPW, it's only appropriate that we hold these titles so we can show the correct way how to do it.
Winning those championships for the first time, is that a moment that you take in the moment, or is it something that kind of sets in afterwards? Like, wow, I did this. This happened.
Yes, definitely. Your first championship is always special. Because at that point it's like the first, that first championship accomplishment. You have a belt that you can wear around your waist and call yourself a champion. One of the greatest feelings ever. But let me tell you, when you're young and you're winning that first one, reality soon checks in, and you realize at that same time it's a great feeling. But then you realize everyone's coming for you. Everyone's looking at you. Everyone wants that match. And if they want that match, it's because they think they can beat you. So it is a great feeling, but that reality check comes in soon after. And when it does, then you got to start watching your back.
Very true. And another title that you captured had was also the Warsaw title. Can you tell us about that title?
The Warsaw title. Okay, so the Warsaw title. There's a video. Maybe I need to repost it because it might be a little buried down there. It's on the Instagram, but it's, let's be honest, it's basically the greatest title that was ever around. They put it up there. You got, the NWA championship. You had the Gold Wing WWF championship. You have the WWE titles, and then you had the Warsaw championship. That was a belt that I carried with great dignity. I had letters even from the Texas Commission on Pro Wrestling about my title and what it took. And then we found out, there was even a rule book. It was the Warsaw rule book to winning that title and to be in matches in it. It was such a great run that eventually, because no one could beat me, I just kind of retired the belt.
What were the rules for winning the Warsaw title?
Well, I can't sit here and read the whole book to you, but there was, I'll try to remember a couple of them. I remember at one point, in fact, there's another wrestler at AAPW. His name is Insane. He wrestles all over Texas, but he started with us, and he's a masked luchador. Well, I wrestled him one time. He was challenging me for the Warsaw title, and that's when we found out about the rule that if you're a masked wrestler, you cannot win the match by going off of the top rope. And he tried that in our match, and unfortunately, he did not win. So I retained the title that night.
That's a very specific rule.
It was. I also remember one rule that was, let's see, you have to be so tall to win the title. And I wrestled someone, they thought they won, but they weren't tall enough. I mean, there's been many. I mean, when you see legal rule books in any sports, it's very thick. You can't just, no one's going to read it front to back and have it memorized. Now, luckily, I was able to recognize each rule as they came out.
So you must be this tall in order to win this title.
Yes, that is a rule in the book. I did not write the rule book. It's just there.
But what if you were lifts in your shoes? Does it have to be your height in the ring, or does it have to be your actual height?
I'd have to go back to that exact chapter, that subsection and subletter, and read more into it. Like I said, I don't have the book memorized. I remember at the time, and I'd hate to bring it up now because I'm not a political guy, but the current political climate, at one point there was a wrestler who defeated me, but unfortunately you had to be a U.S. citizen to win the title.
Ooh.
I don't want to get any more into that with the current situation, the current political climate, like I said, but these are all rules in the rule book. Once again, just like I always said then, I'm sorry, I have nothing to do with them. I'm just explaining what the rule says to y'all.
You don't write the rules, you just follow them.
Correct. And unfortunately, I was the only one who followed all the rules.
You mentioned, you retired the Warsaw title.
I did.
Now that you are, essentially running the company now, do you think that we'll see a return of that title?
That might be something to do. I think that might be something. I pull it off the shelf, dust it off, just so I could teach a couple of these younger generation wrestlers who just don't quite get it. Maybe I'll bring it back out and have it go for a run or two so they can understand what it's really all about.
Well, some may say, you're telling us that it's retired, but other people may say that the Warsaw title actually got turned into the 24/7 title.
Well,
That,
yeah, it was a part of the agreement at the time. I'd said because I okay, you can say what you want about Warsaw, but I'll say this: I'm a very fair and honest individual, and I felt at the time, currently, that I was just getting too much attention. Let's be frank about it. The title was named after me. I think everyone that was coming to the shows was just for me and my title. So I made an agreement. I said, "Hey, let's make this something a little else." I won't even necessarily, maybe for a little, but after that, I'll give it up, give it to other people. Because I want all the kids. I want their dreams to come true as well. I can't just hold on to everything.
right, and there might be a lawsuit from the guy not from America as well.
True. That's true. That's true. Or maybe I do remember someone trying to tell me that they were going to sue me because being under height was discrimination, and there was tons of crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, and I mean, lawsuits and wrestling do not get along, especially
They
independent ones.
definitely not, but I know a couple. I know a really good lawyer actually.
Um, we're talking about, all of your accolades and like I said, running the company. Can you tell us about the Dumb War match against Schwartz?
Oh, okay. That was quite a match. That was with Baracho Pro Wrestling. Um, and it was actually a fans bring the toys match. So anything that you saw in that match was actually brought by the audience themselves. So that was it, it was that was a match that also took some time to recover from. Um, there was also a teddy bear elbow drop in that match. Someone had brought a Guitar Hero with thumbtacks all taped on it. Someone brought a bag of thumbtacks. Someone had there's a bunch of stuff, but then one person had brought a teddy bear. So that teddy bear came into the ring with us, and um, you know, in fact, in the history of my career of pro wrestling, I don't think I've ever missed an elbow drop off the ropes. But that night, holding teddy bear with the teddy bear elbow drop, we did miss, and we landed once again on the tacks, I believe.
Ooh,
Yes.
it was the teddy bear's fault.
Yeah. I mean, I should have known better, but I thought Teddy Bear could carry it.
But you start the match off with a Dumb War, no?
Oh, yes, you're right. Now I remember. Yes. Um, it was, you see a lot in wrestling, right? The normal people, you're going to start with a nice lock up and be crisp and all that. But me and Schwartz, we wanted to do something a little different. So what's more different than that? How many wrestling matches have you seen start that way?
I found something out as well, that if you pin somebody's thumb to the ground, it actually invokes a referee pinfall.
Wow, really? That sounds like that's right in there with the Warsaw rule book.
You know, and I, and I did see the Guitar Hero, the guitar with the thumbtacks on it.
Oh yeah.
So somebody actually took the time to make that. That a fan, not
Yeah,
somebody
that
from the
was
company.
correct. That was just a fan that showed up. There's some super fans. They come to about every show, but um, that's all that stuff. When people try to tell you that everything in pro wrestling is planned and everything, when you do a fans bring the toys match, it's out there, baby, and it's go time. They're you don't know what they're bringing, so.
I mean, did you have like expectations before getting into the match? To like, okay, this is what I'll do when this comes in, or if they bring this. I feel like there's no planning for being handed a Guitar Hero guitar with thumbtacks on it.
Exactly. You nailed it right there. There's no chance in the world two guys can be, in the back before a show starts and say, "Hey brother, when they grab me the Guitar Hero controller with thumbtacks on it, do this." You just in fact, I could have gone over 1,000 scenarios of different stuff that I thought people would bring, and I would never have told you that one.
Well, speaking of, hardcore matches, you've been in quite a few, and quite brutal ones as well. Um,
Definitely.
I mean, when you get into pro wrestling, was that something you had aspirations to do, like the more hardcore stuff, or was it something you just kind of fell into?
I had no aspirations for it. Um, it's something that I kind of, picked up along the way, I guess is a way to say it. But once I once I'd started doing them, it is something that I had a love for and that I enjoy doing, and that's very crazy, especially to all my relatives and friends who don't know anything about wrestling. They still don't understand that, but it is something I enjoy a lot.
I mean, it must have been quite the day when you told them that you got hit with a Guitar Hero with thumbtacks on it.
Oh yeah, because I have I actually have two pictures and they're next to each other, and one is just the Guitar Hero with the thumbtacks, and the next is my back, and it's the perfect lineup of how those tacks are on the Guitar Hero,
Ooh.
the marks from it. So, like I said, the family and friends, they still don't get it, and I don't think there's a way I could describe it to them because they're not exactly big wrestling nuts or anything. So,
Right.
um, but I love it.
Do you think that you'll ever take it a step further and dabble in the deathmatch territory?
It, I would never say never. Um, just like any match, if it's something that's brought to me and something that I'm interested in, something that I can get excited for, um, man, I would take on about anything. There's not much in my pro wrestling career that I could say no to as far as match types. Let me preface with that. So, you know, I have nothing planned, nothing on the horizon, but it's not something that I'm saying no to. Also,
I gotcha. Can you tell us about Battle Blade?
Oh, Battle Blade was a great wrestler. He came and wrestled for AAPW quite a bit. Um, I was never lucky enough to see him in person, but I have seen lots of video of him.
I mean, I think that you were maybe not active during that time, no?
No, and that's why I couldn't watch him in person. I was actually suspended by Papa Don at that time.
Well, one of the matches that he had, was, a white elephant match against Marcelo, you know?
That is yes, and that was one of what that's probably my favorite Battle Blade match of all time.
How do you think Battleblade felt about that match? If you could put yourself in his shoes.
Man, I think that Battle Blade would say he loved it. He actually, him and Marcelo had great chemistry. They worked together great, and Battle Blade, believe it or not, was loved by the fans. They loved Battle Blade, so kind of different than myself, but anytime you get a holiday themed and you have a bunch of all these mystery gifts, what's in them, what can we do, and then you have a good opponent like he had with Marcelo, then that just, like I said, it all comes together, and I think Battle Blade is very fond of that match as well.
Do you think Battleblade knew what was in the gift boxes, or was it as a big of surprise as the fans bring the toys?
Oh, that's a good question. That's something you'd have to ask Battle Blade. I don't know, and I don't even know if Battle Blade's working anymore. He got his last match. He got his mask ripped open, and he was bleeding as big time. I believe is a steel cage match. And some people have even said he's dead. I couldn't tell you. I haven't talked to him, so I don't know.
Hmm. Well,
But I hope not. I hope not, because I enjoyed his stuff.
do you think we'll ever see Battleblade again, from your perspective?
Let's go back to that never say never thing. He, like I said, some people think he's dead. I sure hope he isn't. But God, what the future's come, I couldn't tell you.
If he is indeed alive, do you think we'll ever see Warsaw versus Battleblade?
I mean, that might be my greatest opponent of all time. But let me tell you, someone would have to open up the checkbook to get that match.
I gotcha. I mean, he could definitely be, competition for, the Warsaw title. I'm pretty sure he's around the same height.
I think I'm taller, but you might be right.
Well, Warsaw, quite the interesting time for pro wrestling.
Oh, definitely.
Which will bring us to our next segment, and that is Warsaw's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us
Yes.
a road story that fits that description?
Okay, I got one for you. I was wrestling in a different city. It was my first time in that city, and like a lot of places, I wasn't exactly the most well received in the ring. Um, I think there's just a lot more idiots in this world than there are intelligent people. But
Uncultured.
anyways, yes. And so I was in the ring, and it was before a match, and I had the mic, and I was talking to the crowd, and I had told, you know, I was telling the crowd, because this is someone I worked with in that specific promotion, but I had a manager, and I was in a tag team at the time, and I had told the crowd that we had been training, we were working together, but we only had one little problem. And then there was this guy in the front row, and he was yelling at me, showing his ignorance and everything. So I said, little problems. And then his wife was sitting next to him. And I pointed to her and looked at him and I said, unfortunately, she knows about little problems. And he got very upset with me. So, he proceeded to drop many F-bombs and any other things on me. But anyways, the match went on. We won the match and, didn't think any of it. Well, this location where this wrestling match was at was put on kind of by a bar restaurant and right next to it. So, after the match is over, I go into the bar and, just looking around, maybe get a snack, maybe get a drink, what's going on. Well, I turn around and there's that guy. And he goes, "You're the one who said that I'm a small problem." And I said, "That was me." And then his wife shows up and she's next to him and she goes, "That was amazing. You nailed it." so, so I said, I looked at the guy and he was not looking happy. And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, dude." Like, what do you say at that point? And then he was like getting real mad. And I was like, "Oh, crap, is this dude going to try to fight me in the bar or something?" And then all of a sudden he busted out laughing. He hugs his wife and he's like, "Let me buy you a drink." So him and his wife then went and bought me a drink and they told me, they enjoyed the show, all that stuff. But it was quite funny when she said, "You nailed it," so. So there's a little road story for you.
And almost something that could have turned out disastrous, but turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but in the moment I was wondering.
All right. Now here at Wrestling Wit, we like to say everybody is nerdy for something. Everybody geeks out, fanboys for something. What is something Warsaw geeks out about?
What do I geek out about? Let's see. You know what? In the wrestling world, to pull back the curtain a little on this one, like I said, I help out a lot with the training with the beginners and everything now. So in the wrestling side of the world, I geek out about seeing my people. And when I say my people, I kind of refer to them as my wrestling family, people I help train, people I help bring up, people I've had matches with. And when I see them get big opportunities, wrestling for WWE, wrestling for AEW, wrestling dark matches, wrestling, all that type of stuff. That's what I geek out for nowadays in wrestling. Because like I said, I am the older type. I get it. So to see all the people that I've helped in any way possible along the way get up there and achieve their dreams, that's the wrestling geek out for me. Outside of wrestling, and this is really geeky and nerdy, but if you're in wrestling, come on, we're all geeks and nerds, honestly.
Oh yeah.
But my big obsession right now is lit RPG books. I fell into it, and that's just my big thing right now. I'm loving them. So
What exactly is that, may I ask?
so it's some people like system books or whatever, and they're basically what it is like it's just a book, but the book lives, like an RPG, like you can level up in them, you can get certain skills and improve your skills, whatever. But it's not like the old school choose your adventure book. It's not that. It's just a book you read, but people level up in them. They can gain skills. I mean, if it's nerdy and dorky, think about it, and it's in those books. I mean, vampires, werewolves, mages, all the geeky nerdy stuff you can think about.
It kind of sounds like in all Dungeons and Dragons, no?
Yeah, a lot about. In fact, one that I'm reading right now is it's Dungeon Crawler Carl. So
Do you make your own character, or is the character
No,
already?
no. It's like anything. Just a book, like a book you could grab off the shelf. Obviously, I read them all online, but just a book you just read it cover to cover. So you're not really involved in it at all, but it's in that same, um, it's that same theme.
Okay,
Whether it's,
I got you.
a lot of it's like video game RPGs or board game RPGs or whatever you want to call them. So they're cool. They're just something I found. I don't even know how I originally found one, but I found one and it made this big snowball effect where I'm into reading, hundreds of them now.
Which one has been your favorite so far?
There's one called, well, there's two. One was called My Vampire System,
Okay.
and then the other one is Dungeon Crawler Carl. I've finished my Vampire System, Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm on like book 4, and I think there's 8 or 9 of them. So
Okay, so you got a ways to go.
yeah.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, do you play like Dungeons and Dragons?
I never played Dungeons and Dragons, but being an older person, I was huge growing up in all the RPG video games, like the Final Fantasies and stuff like that. That I was big in the video games, but I never played Dungeons and Dragons. Not because I was too cool or anything for it. I just never had any. Just didn't really even know about it till later on, type thing.
Right. Well, what is your favorite Final Fantasy?
Mine. Okay, so I would probably say 3, maybe 7, but probably 3. Now, that's also influenced by I was I was a kid, and that was like this breakthrough game at the time, it's a lot of personal reasons on that. I'm not saying that's the greatest game ever made or anything like that. It just brings back fond memories from my time as a kid.
I gotcha. Alright. Well, I think that should bring us to the colossal question. Let's say they're making a movie about you.
Okay,
Every movie has a soundtrack. What
okay.
would be the first 3 songs on your movie soundtrack?
The first 3 would be, well, one is definitely got to be. You don't hear it as much now because I use the masterclass theme, but the first one would be my theme song, Warsaw Nation. Um, it's a great theme song, so I have to put that on there. And I know that's cheating, but I'm putting it on there. Second would be Eye of the Tiger,
Okay.
and that's because I loved the Rocky movies, so I'm stuck on Eye of the Tiger. And then even my little old school wrestling fact here is before Real American, Hulk Hogan used to even come out to Eye of the Tiger. So there's something for you relating it to wrestling. And then third, let me think. Um, hmm. Let's see. Third maybe would be further. What's it called? Hold on.
Pull out that Google machine.
Yes, I do. Uh, Further on up the road. Yeah, that's it. I think. And there's a bunch of versions of it, but there's one where Johnny Cash redid it right before he died, and that's the one I like. So
Okay. Well, definitely a solid 3 picks, to say the least. Now that we have the soundtrack down, everybody knows you get the soundtrack first, then you write the script, and
oh
then
yeah.
you go the casting.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Who plays you, and you can't say yourself because you are obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
Okay. I would like to play myself because I want the payday, but I understand. I'll pick someone.
Well, I mean, you're producing the movie. You have a
That's true.
cameo. You're making bank.
Okay. I'm getting paid. I understand. Okay. Um, let's see. Hold on. I knew this question was coming once you said the movie thing, and trying to think who. Because some people would say someone who doesn't look like them at all, but maybe they're attractive or something. So I don't want to do that. I want to try to think someone who would actually fit me. Um, you know, how about how about like I said, I want someone that looks like me, has the same body type I do. Like I said, I don't want to just pick whoever. So yeah, I don't know, probably like Brad Pitt, someone like looks like me,
Yeah, just get the buzz cut and you're good to go. Like what was it called? Fight Club. Brad Pitt.
Yeah. And honestly, I that's something, I've even asked myself that before, and I don't really have a good answer. So something I'll have to think about, I think. I'm sorry, I don't have the cool answer for that one.
Fair enough. Well, maybe you have the answer for this next one.
Okay.
Every movie has a supporting cast.
Yes.
Who would be 3 people significant to you and your story that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
Okay, so first I would go with um Papa Don,
Okay.
and he would be played by Danny Trejo.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, yeah, he would. And then they don't necessarily look a lot, maybe back in his day they looked similar, not as much now, but then so that I think that would be a good role. Next, I would have to put Lawrence in there,
Okay.
because he's part of Masterclass, and he would probably be played by Idris Elba.
Okay. Solid pick.
Yeah, that's great. I made him amazing. He should thank me for that later on.
He definitely should.
Yeah. And then let's see, who would my third person be? How about Marshall Belfort?
Okay.
Because he's the brains behind Masterclass, so I got to put him in there. And he would be played by, you need someone very smart, but they can be loud. So I would probably go with, maybe like Ben Stiller.
Okay. Yeah.
He's funny, but he can also be like the intelligent guy too, so.
I gotcha. Well, this is sounding like a great movie. A
Oh yeah.
blockbuster to say the least. And you could pre-order the tickets now.
Yes, just send all to Warsaw, and I'll put you on the list.
Now onto a controversial subject.
Okay.
Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
I like it. Sorry, but I like it.
So you're pro pineapple on pizza?
I'm pro pineapple, yes, definitely. It's the Hawaiian or whatever you want to call it. We always just said Canadian bacon and pineapple. I've always been a fan of, so.
Okay. What's your spirit Pokemon?
My spirit Pokemon would probably be probably Snorlax,
Classic.
because I would love to be Snorlax, just killing all the time. Unfortunately, I don't get to be, but that's who I'd want to be.
Hey, we all want to be Snorlax. We love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for Doug? THUG.
For Thug, I don't know that.
T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail, 'cause a Doug can't spell. Yes, we love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show, trying to keep the memory alive.
I love it. I love it.
Weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical Rock.
Hey, just like I said earlier when we were talking about death matches, if you come to me with an idea and it sounds like something I can do or something I can run with, and you're willing to cut the check, I'm in.
Well, just for context, there is a wrestler named Psycho Mike that indeed wrestled a Rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. That's an Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yes. On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, geez. So, hopefully alive.
Okay.
I'll in 5 years. I don't know what I'll be doing, but I'll still be involved with wrestling some way, somehow.
Okay.
Probably still be wrestling. Maybe we'll see.
And hopefully still alive.
Yes, hopefully still alive. Maybe doing death matches for all I know.
Possibly. I know there's a couple of good deathmatch wrestlers in Texas currently.
Oh, yeah, there definitely is. And you know what? Some of them's wrestling skills get covered by death matches.
Oh yeah.
Some of them are really good wrestlers also.
I mean, we could have a whole conversation on that.
Definitely.
What is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off you as a pro wrestler?
Let's see. I've got a couple of them. One would be I wrestled Jay Sky, and I lost my title to him. I lost it in there. It was actually a dog collar match, but it was one of my favorites of all time. And then another one, not me, but go watch that White Elephant Battle Blade match. That pretty much sums him up. I couldn't say for him, but if I was to guess, that's a good one too, because it's that is pro wrestling all wrapped up in one. You got some moves, you got some entertainment, you definitely got some characters.
And we can find these matches on YouTube?
YouTube, look up, official AAPW, and they'll all be on there.
Perfect. And I will indeed find those matches if they are on YouTube and put them in the description of the video below. But for on YouTube and Castbox, for anybody that hasn't seen them, wants to see them, wants to re-see them after this interview. And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
Oh boy, here we go.
This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Hulk Hogan.
Worst wrestler.
Oh God. Worst wrestler all time. I know it's supposed to be a speed round. God, I got to think, because I don't focus on the worst. How about Zeus? cheated.
I will accept that answer. I mean, technically, he did have a match in WWE, so I mean, it's not
He
cheating.
did it, and believe it or not, he came back in WCW during the NWO run.
That's right, unfortunately. You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
You know what? Right now, it would be Kevin Owens.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
New waiting incident.
DX.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is...
Alive and well.
We would have also accepted. Tastes great on toast. Squash. Vegetable or fruit?
Vegetable.
It is indeed a fruit. It has seeds. Tomato logic.
If I was smart, I wouldn't be a wrestler.
New Japan wrestler Taichi. His ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
Definitely depends on what your cheeks are showing, you know. Hey, if they're good, show them off, right? You know, so as long as it's not X-rating your show where you can't be shown to the millions, roll with it.
So it depends on the appearance of the butt, you're saying.
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
Personal opinion.
And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
Actually, I have.
Ooh, elaborate.
Now, this is cheating a little once again. I was in the toy section looking at wrestling figures, and it was right after AEW first came. Well, I don't really know if it's right after, but I think they were fairly new. And there was a Darby All-In, and it was a little kid. So you got this grown-up wrestler and this little kid, and he would thought the skateboard was so cool. I don't even know if he knew wrestling, but he thought the skateboard was so cool. So like I said, that's cheating a little, but I did have a conversation with a random person about him.
And then you pushed the kid and purchased the figure.
Yeah, it was the last one. I said, "Tough luck, kid. Welcome to the real world."
I wouldn't say that it's cheating. I will accept that answer, and it is the correct answer. That will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
Yes, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And once again, where can we find all things Warsaw on social media?
Go to Warsaw Nation on Instagram. But let me give a shout out for AAPW, because even if not for me, you got a lot of people fulfilling their dreams, and that's what that place is all about. And tons of people that I love and I'm big fans of come out of there. So check out AAPW as well.
And you don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to his social media will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox. Simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Give him a damn follow.
That's right.
Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, but on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us next Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews, and follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, and Instagram, for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesShay993. Alright, when I say wrestling with, you say entertainment, okay?
Okay.
For Our special guest, Warsaw, Coleco Yacht, Scooter Dust. I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.